Started here live on Facebook.
Yeah, I think we're live.
Being live is fun, and we're using just so you guys know watching. We're using Zoom
Mhm.
and going live through Facebook via Zoom. So if anybody wants to know how to do that,
Oh,
we can definitely send over some information. What's up, Gerard?
yeah, I guess we are not live. It has
We
problems
are.
playing that video.
Yeah, we're live.
Really? Okay.
I believe so. It says Facebook Live, and with Facebook, you just never know. But I see it on my
Mhm.
Facebook page.
Oh, yes, yes.
So yeah, so we're definitely live and been live ever since you've been picking your nose. No, I'm just kidding. So hey, everybody. My name is Richard Smith with Remote Assistant Scout, and this is Gerard with Remote Assistant Scout, co-founder. And we wanted to go live today because we truly feel and have talked to literally hundreds of loan officers across the country about great successes with them utilizing virtual assistants for their business. And today we wanted to talk about how important it is this time of year, or not really this time of year, but during kind of what we're going through with the pandemic and how so many positions are going remote, but more importantly, why right now is the most important time to hire, utilize a virtual assistant in your business. And we're going to talk about a few touching points because we don't have a whole lot of time, but we're going to talk about some touching points on um, tasks and things that the VA should be doing to help you right now, and to promote you, and why it's so important right now. Because well, first I want to start real quick with and I'm going to let you talk, Gerard. I wanted to start real quick with a really good friend of mine, Carl White, was telling me some realizations. So 5 realizations that we really need to think about right now, because there's a lot of people out there in fear. There's a lot of people in quarantine. There's people that have to stay home, like in my area, which is the Houston area and Harris County and Fort Bend counties. There's only essential jobs that can go out. So everybody else has to stay
Hmm.
home. And so there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of unknown, but there are 5 realizations that Carl was telling me about, and I want to share those with you guys. Number one, we all know this is going to end. Like, what we're going through is going to end. And more importantly, number two, it's likely to end very soon. So it's one of those things that it, the media and TV, they really paint a picture of this fear that this is going to happen forever, and it really isn't. It's going to end, but it's probably going to end very soon. And even worst case, it could be 90 days, and 90 days isn't 9 years. It's not even 2 years. It's literally, it could be 60 days, 90 days. I mean, that's still a very short period of time, and we still need to think about business. And so realization number 4, this possibly and likely could be over in 2 weeks. So what are we doing right now to ensure that we're staying top of mind to the people that are thinking about buying and selling a house, to the realtors that are out there? And so this very likely could be over in a couple weeks. And number 5, this could actually be the moment you've been waiting for, because, and everybody has a lot of different reasons for because, but it's kind of like in our industry. And we invited loan officers, and there's probably other people on here, which is really cool too. But for loan officers and for salespeople in general, what we do today is really, we're not going to see those results for sometimes 60-90 days from now. And so what we can't do is nothing. And so, and what we should be doing, and what we're going to talk about today with hiring virtual assistants, is we should be doubling down on as much of the right things as possible. And so we'll talk about some of those things. But I thought those 5 realizations that Carl was telling me is really, really important, because every person that you guys talk to, whether they are realtors, whether they're potential buyers, referral partners, referrers, friends, family, sphere of influence, past clients, you've got to be the ray of sunshine with these people. And I'm not saying stick your head in the sand with what is happening, but there is way too much negativity. And if you really think about those realizations, this is going, this is going to pass, and people will remember the individuals who made them feel good, or at least assured, or reassured during this time. So we think that's really, really important. And so we're going to talk about some reasons, and some really good reasons, and strategies and tasks on why you should have a VA now. And the things that we're going to talk about, these are being done by myself and by hundreds of loan officers out there that Gerard has helped hire virtual assistants for, because Remote Assistant Scout is a vetting service that helps connect the right virtual assistant making $4 to $5 an hour with the loan officer, and ensuring that that relationship and that connection is a great fit for the two. And so the success that we've seen has been unbelievable, especially the success we've seen just recently in the last couple weeks during this pandemic, and during this fear and things that have been happening. So do you want to talk about a topic, Gerard, on some of the things that some of the reasons why somebody, a loan officer right now, should hire, if they do not have one, a virtual assistant now, as opposed to later?
Well, thank you that mentioned about, staying on top of mind, because I actually read this somewhere that, now is really the right time to do some or build your branding, build your reputation, be ready for your systems, like, follow-up systems, and be well prepared, whenever this is all over. And I guess we discussed about, keeping in touch with your past client database. I mean, this is a good time to create and build relationships with them, in terms of, asking them if how they're coping with the current situation. You need to have this, or demonstrate that you care for your past client database. Either, they done some transaction or close a transaction with you or not. So this is one way for you to, I guess, because we've been doing this for Richard, that, we stay on top of mind of our past client database. And we're not only calling for that main reason, we're also calling for three things. So not just asking how they're coping with, with the current pandemic. Number two, we try to also ask if refinancing would be, would make sense to them at this point. I mean, can you tell us about what's happening in the market right now, Mr. Smith?
There's a lot of craziness happening in the market right now, but there's still a lot of opportunity for refinances, for cash outs, for things like that. And what's really important is, like Gerard said, is the conversations are geared towards how are you doing? How are things going? Is there anything we can help you with? In general, is there any way we can help? And that being part of it, because the scripting has to be in a way that is not insensitive. So it's got to be real sensitive. So it starts off that way. And a lot of you might be asking, well, shouldn't I be making those calls? And so, to be honest with you, the loan officer should be making those calls. But what we found with when you hire a virtual assistant, you're looking at two things. You have the ability to double yourself, and you have the ability to, when you're super busy, everything still happens in the background, so you're consistent. And so at this time, doubling yourself is real important. You're making calls, your virtual assistant's making calls, and you've doubled yourself. I would like to add to that too, because we do have our virtual assistants make a lot of calls on our behalf, and hundreds of loan officers around the country have their virtual assistants make phone calls on their behalf. And one of the ones that, one of the type of calls that LOs are having great success at is coffee appointments with realtors. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute, nobody wants to meet, restaurants are closed, nobody wants to meet face to face. And that's true. So over the last 2 weeks, we've transitioned to these online Zoom coffee appointments. So I have loan officers right now that we have helped make these these online Zoom or Skype coffee appointments for them over the last 2 weeks. And I'm talking about anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 appointments a week for the LO. So they're building relationships. And these are two types of agents that they're meeting with. One, agents that they've known for a while, and agents that maybe have or haven't sent them business in the past, but it's just hey, let's talk. How are things going? Maybe let's brainstorm on some things right now that work well. And so you've got to be, as a loan officer, you've got to be talking with your agents. And what better way than video? And what better way to schedule these appointments is having a virtual assistant, because I would say 75% of the appointments being scheduled right now are with qualified realtors. So realtors that actually are doing business, that most loan officers, for whatever reason, call resistance, they don't want to make these cold calls. But the VAs make the calls, they schedule the appointment, and you just show up. You're talking about, ways you can help them. How are things going? It can be anything from a personal call to talking about ways to, like, I'll give you one example of a suggested strategy that I think is so important for every loan officer and every real estate agent out there right now. And that's literally calling your database and asking them how they're doing, letting them know that you're here to support them in any way. If there's anything they need, it might be a referral for another type of business or whatever, but having that heart to help, but letting them know things are going to be okay, being that ray of sunshine, and just having a conversation with them. You don't, at this point, it's hard to say that as a salesperson, but these calls don't have to have a call to action. People, you don't want to be insensitive. You definitely don't want them, they're in fear, and you don't want them thinking that it's a sales call when you as a salesperson, you help people, and people do need help, so it's not always a bad thing. But these are really relationship calls, because your past clients, your database, people that know, like, and trust you, they're going to remember. Then when we're through this, whether it's 2 weeks or 2 months, they're going to remember the one person that called to check up on them. I've been making these calls, and I'm telling you, I can tell people that they're not getting calls from other people. They're hearing from me, and I can hear it in their voice how appreciative they are. And so that's something that I bring up to all the realtors I talk to. And then if you do these virtual real estate coffee appointments, it's huge. And so having a virtual assistant set those, it just basically, I look in my calendar for next week, and my calendar is filled for the appointments that I put in there. It no longer says realtor appointment. It has the name of the realtor and who I'm meeting with and what time. So that's another thing. So what's another task right now that you think, Gerard, is really important that could be done right now during this time?
Well, I guess this would be the best time for you guys to, since, to use technology. because everybody is quarantined, so everybody would have ample time to to be on social media, to check out the news and social media. So I think we saw loan officers hosting online classes, not just like you, classes for realtors, but of course home buying seminars. You could partner with with a credit repair specialist and have an exclusive webinar for for credit repair, and probably have them ready. So a virtual assistant could come in terms of setting everything up for you, coordinating with your partners, either realtor brokerages, title agents, home warranty companies, or credit repair specialists. And the virtual assistant could set up what you call this, landing pages for you, registration pages, call those people who registered, so you could give them reminders, because follow-up is important. I think one realtor, or perhaps 2 or 5 realtors, really mentioned about how rigorous our follow-up is, and they're really appreciative of that, because when we try to exude excellence and in the follow-up area, I mean, they would actually think that, oh, so they're good at follow-up, so they would probably be good with follow-up with our leads. And I guess that's a good thing, and very helpful, not just exuding, or let's say letting them know that you care, but of course executing it. So sending out reminders, sending out email reminders to your registrants, and recording the video, and of course syndicating that video to the other platforms that you may think of, either on Facebook groups, on LinkedIn groups, and you can also send that to your entire database too.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. And it really just becomes automated for me, let's say, so if I'm teaching a class at a title company, I pretty much just show up and teach. Everything pre-class and everything post-class is done by the virtual assistants. And especially, like Gerard said, the follow-up. And it can be the same with online classes. So next week we have 2 realtor classes scheduled that we're going to be doing on Zoom, and you can have up to 100 realtors on there. And so we're kind of changing the way we're doing things based on the pandemic and quarantines and so forth. So we're going to do them online, and so people are online, and that's a great idea with home buyer seminars and doing them online. And so that's really, really important, because as a loan officer, you really need to be spending your time on money-making activities, talking to potential buyers and sellers, even if they're the relationship calls, because people will remember that. Another thing is, we don't have time as a loan officer. We might have more time now, but it's still best spent on talking to people and communicating with them through social media and so forth. But so with people being home, I've noticed a huge influx on social media. Obviously, people are
Mhm.
at home more. And so now, as a loan officer, now is the time to double down on social media. Like, double down. Be the person who's out there communicating positive, being that, that whole bright light,
Time.
positive. Yep. And so I'll give you a quick example, because we don't have that much time. And if anybody wants to send me a DM and get the standard operating procedure for social media, but I'm on social media every day, and a virtual assistant of mine is on social media every day as me. And so everything gets done, from posts being done to my regular profile, to groups, um, uh, comments are made, DMs, direct messages are being done every day to at least 10 past clients, at least for me as a loan officer, 10 realtors. And these are, yes, my VA helps me do this, but it's still me, because my VA has become me. We we did enough training and shadowing, that everything that the way I am, the way I speak, who I talk to, it is it's done by the VA in many cases, but it's still me, and it's still sincere because it is me, and nobody knows if it's not me, because it might be me, it might be them, but nobody knows that. But I've doubled myself, so not just DMs, but getting on LinkedIn and LinkedIn groups and LinkedIn pages, Instagram, doing videos. Literally, right now, as a loan officer, all you have to do is shoot a video, and in this is what we do. So let's just say, before, when Gerard was helping me with doing videos, I would shoot the video, upload it. Gerard would send that out to my database via email. He would post it on Facebook, he would post it on YouTube, he would post it to realtor groups. He would get that video out everywhere that you possibly can. Edit if you need them to be edited, adding scripts to them, just everything. So what I did was I spent about 2 minutes shooting the video and uploaded it from my phone, and then everything else got done in the background. So it's real important to do that too. And then we haven't even talked about having your VA build out your database right now, and doing handwritten notes. So can a VA in the Philippines making $4 an hour do handwritten notes? Yes, you can get a what is that? Send out cards, and there's another service where you can literally have the VA. Now, you might say, like I said, well, send out cards is a little different. It's not a handwritten note by me. But the way I look at that, or a phone call to a past client, it won't it be better if it's me? Yes, and that can be me. And yes, I can write some handwritten notes. But if 10 or 20 handwritten notes go out a day from send out cards, is that as good as me writing a handwritten note? No. Is it better than no notes going out? Well, heck yeah, it is. So you got to look at it in that respect. Gerard?
Yeah, so I think, just a recap. So this would be the best time for you to, number one, build your database, reach out to, regardless if they're new, current, pre-approved buyers or past client database, to check out how they're coping with the current situation. And if you don't have the time for that, because normally, as what you mentioned, Mr. Smith, that, you need to really focus on the money making activities. And, a virtual assistant can definitely assist you with that. And also you could start hosting, online classes. This is the best time to, to take advantage of the technologies. There is Zoom, there's Facebook Live. So the virtual assistant could actually set up everything for you. And we have SOPs available as to the step-by-step procedures for the virtual assistants, to assist you in these key areas. And what else? Also, build your branding on social media, since, a lot of people are online right now coping with the quarantine. And it would be best if, if you could reach out to those people whom you worked with before, and, just be a ray of sunshine to everyone. Be someone with,
Yeah.
with a positive attitude in terms of our coping tactic regarding this
Yes.
situation, because it's really tough. And especially right
Yes.
now here in the Philippines. So there's really an influx of, of people who's vying to work online. So we don't have shortage of
Right.
people, or let's say qualified virtual assistants. So
So, and I want to touch a little bit on Remote Assistant Scout and Gerard, with what he has done and what he has built. And Gerard, with the Remote Assistant Scout, he's really built an attraction model of the best virtual assistants in the Philippines come to him looking for work, because they know he's going to connect them with the best of the best here, and that's loan officers around the country, real estate agents around the country. And so what he basically does is, and the reason that we built this is there were two really big mistakes I made, and I saw so many loan officers and realtors make over the years. And the biggest mistake when hiring a virtual assistant is getting the wrong person and having the wrong fit. Because even if you get somebody experienced, if it's not a connection and it's not a good fit, it doesn't work. It's just like any employee. And the second biggest mistake that I made and saw so many other people make is not onboarding them correctly, not having the right expectations from the beginning, not doing proper training from the beginning, and then that just doesn't work. And so that's what Remote Assistant Scout does. Gerard and his team, they have an attraction model. Let's just say they have a conversation with you as a loan officer. Could be a 5-10 minute conversation. Gerard's listening to what you're wanting your VA to do, and it's most of the time it's the type of tasks that we talked about, and there's so many more. And if you want a list of actually 2 full lists of things, just shoot us a DM and we'll get that to you. But Gerard has a conversation with you. What he's also doing is he's getting to know you, your personality. Gerard has a gift for matching people. And if he's matching your personality with the personality of the VA and you guys click, that just means that relationship's going to work better. And it means it's going to be a long-term relationship, which is what you're looking for. It's what the VA is looking for. And so what he does is he'll have that conversation with you. He'll go through resumes. He'll go through voice recordings. He'll go through DISC assessments, pre-interviews, and he ends up with about the top 4 to 5 VAs. And so at that time, you and Gerard will interview each of those. Gerard helps facilitate that. He has questions that we would never think of here in the US because he's in the Philippines. He can see red flags that we wouldn't see. So let's say you choose your top 1. You will negotiate, and Gerard can help you with this, but you'll negotiate the price. Let's just say you negotiate with this VA $4.50 an hour, and that is what you'll pay them. There's no middleman. Gerard and his team, this isn't a company that like these other companies out there that there's a middleman that you pay and they pay less to the VA. I mean, this is a finder service, a vetting service. That VA is yours. You only pay them what you guys agree upon. At that point, Gerard will do onboarding. He does initial training. He gives an expectation call to the VAs. He gives a call to you, the loan officer, and talks about best practices, ways that we found managing VAs the best, resources, things like that. And then at that point, they're yours. He does initial training, supplies scripts, supplies all sorts of resources, but then they're yours. And of course, we're here for questions if anything ever came up, but they're yours in the effect of there's just a one-time fee with Remote Assistant Scout, and there's no fees after that. So they're your VA. And so you build that relationship. Our success rate is very, very high. And of course, the VA is guaranteed if something happened. But I would say out of the last 100 VAs Gerard has hired, there's probably been 2 cases where there was an issue and those VAs were replaced immediately. And so that's kind of how the service works. And I can't say enough about Gerard and the gift that he has doing this, and how many people that he's helped and the passion he has for helping people. Because when he hires somebody for you as a loan officer, his intention is this is long term, because you never want to lose your VA because they're growing your business. They're giving you more freedom. The VA, they're happy. They want to work from home. They want to make good money to work from home and not have to go travel. Most of the VAs, I think, are college graduates. And so it's a win-win. They don't want a job hop. They want to work with you forever, just as you want them to work with you forever. So it's a great service. If you're interested, you can shoot us a DM. We'll set up a strategy call and kind of go over everything with you. But I truly believe right now, with where we are, now is the time to hire, because it's not going to be long. This will be probably one of the best years for most loan officers and realtors businesses, because things are gonna go crazy when we get past this issue that's happening. It's gonna be big, and so now is the time.
Yes, I just really have to add on that aside from recruitment, for recruitment, we also that also includes the training. So thank you for mentioning that we are providing content or scripts for your virtual
Right.
assistant, social media content, and our SOPs for that matter. And they might be, a lot of virtual assistant agencies here in the Philippines offering, the same service or charging the same fees. However, this is our niche. So if you're a loan officer, this is our niche. If you're a realtor,
Right.
this is our niche. And if you're an aspiring singer, where would you reach out to an aspire to a singer as well? So you know what I mean. So Richard is a
Right.
loan officer. He's our co-founder. So whatever you feel like, you need some help in your business, and then you guys can schedule a strategy call with him. And if you want to do it yourself, of course, there are online platforms out there. There's Upwork, there's onlinejobs.ph. However, if you want your virtual assistant to be trained by us, and then you can also reach out and we can offer a different service to you guys.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, Gerard, it was fun hanging out with you today.
Yes,
It's
nice.
not like we don't talk every day, but
We're talking every day. Thank you so much
yes.
for your time, and talk to you later. All right. Thank you guys
All
for
right.
tuning in.
Thank you.
Yes.
Reach out.